Hey, welcome back you guys. So today we're going to go over the basics of installing corner bead. We have right here a nice Bead steel or paper-faced steel corner bead. So it has a 7/8 steel bead covered by a tape-on paper flange. This is the industry standard. It's what I've used for basically my entire career. And to install, I'm going to be using taping mud. You can't find taping mud everywhere. It seems to be kind of a West Coast thing. You can find it up and down the West Coast of the US, and you can find it through most parts of Canada, but a huge part of the US does not have taping mud. What you will want to use in that case is all-purpose heavyweight. So that would be like a green lid USG. I have it much thicker than I would tape with. And that is because when you're installing bead, you want to try and get nice long spreads, and you want to try and get this done before it starts to dry out on you. I think the number one problem that people have is they actually have their mud way too dry usually. So while this might be dry for me, there is actually water in here and it is mixed up. The thinner it gets, the harder it gets to get a nice long spread because you can't get a big blob of mud onto your knife. So get a nice blob like that on there, come down from the top. And when you've got big openings like this, so that's one of the reasons why it's nice to have at least a 7/8 interior bead there. They do make ones that are up to an inch. They're huge and they do a great job of covering gaps like this. But I will often try and make sure that I actually get some mud into those. I also find that this edge can really dry the mud up quickly. So that goes back to one of the things I was saying about the mud needing to be wet enough. You want it wet enough that you can spread it quickly. There's so many different things. I have to make a mud consistency video. I actually have to grab more mud. Yeah, I really like to make sure that those bits are filled up. I gotta grab some more mud, or just gonna take a little off here. So what I was saying though, what tends to happen to people a lot of the time is it takes them too long to get the mud onto the bead or onto the wall and then out from under the bead, and it dries out and they start getting air pockets. So there is an element of speed necessary here, but that is also where taping mud will save the day. Taping mud has this special quality about it that makes it really good at staying on a wall for a long time and even losing moisture, but still being slick enough to pull out from under a tape or a bead. Taping mud is special stuff. Look for it. Okay, so I push the bead on and I push up. You always want to make sure, you don't want a gap like this at the top, right? So push up. And now I'm just wiggling the bead. So that's sort of helping place it. It's helping get some of that excess out. And now what I'm doing is I'm making sure to embed. I'm just making sure that the paper flange is making contact with mud everywhere. That helps it get a second for the adhesive to sink in. And here's where the really important part comes in. The bead can't be out of square. So I'm gonna remove a bit of mud so I can show you guys what I mean by that. Now this bead is still totally movable because of the mud, but if it's out of square, you're gonna have a really big gap on one side. And then this part is gonna be hitting the knife on the other side. So the nosing, there won't be enough space, so it actually has to be adjusted. So I've just pushed it that way. Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit back to my actual process. So I would normally just roughly wipe the mud out, because you can't see what it's doing. Can't see what it's doing when there's so much excess mud. This is why it's so important that the bead's square. So I'm gonna fill this oh, I can still see the bead. Whereas if I fill this side, we can see it's hiding the bead. So that's why it needs to be square. So pushing it over, now it's square right here. Just making sure that I can see daylight from the nose of the bead to there. Okay, man, it takes so much longer to explain how to install a bead that I'm like running the risk. I'm running the risk of doing a bad install just because it takes so long to talk about it. And that when I was talking about the mud drying out underneath the bead, that's like at risk of happening because I've been explaining the whole thing instead of just installing the bead. Okay, now I'm wiping it out, but I'm making sure not to wipe everything out. If you look at it, you can see there's like clearly a millimeter of mud underneath the tape, right? We're not trying to take it all out. So now, again, I'm wiping it out. And I'm often, like, so there's the edge of the steel flange. And I often will have the knife fairly close to that. Okay, that's pretty good. If we want to check and see if my install was good, we can just throw a really quick coat down it, and if the flange covers, see, it almost doesn't right there, but it does just enough. I know with 2 coats it'll be hidden. We want to see if it covers. We just do a quick install, and generally speaking, this is not how you coat corner bead, by the way. This is just how you can tell if it's actually square. I would normally use a much wider knife or trowel. You can also see how the corner bead works. It's got the nosing. It helps you build out the corner bead. Let's check this side. Again, I want to be clear, this is not part of a normal corner bead install. At this point, I was done once I wiped it out. Yeah, we're looking good. This side, I would say if anything, the bead is slightly twisted towards this side. So just dealing with it. Oops. So there is probably a bit too much mud under the bead on this side, but it is still hiding. And the fact that it's hiding even with just a 5-inch knife is a good sign, because once I go out to about here, that's easily gonna hide. The smaller the knife, the harder it is to hide the flange of the corner bead, which really can tell you. So like right here, that's actually a problem. See how you can see that still? And I'd say the primary cause of that is just too much mud under the bead. So typically when I'm just installing stuff instead of trying to make videos, this doesn't usually happen to me because I actually have my full bandwidth. But this should help you troubleshoot to know if you've got like too much mud under there or what happened. The mud looks horrible, but the bead is covering now. This part, it isn't, but you know what, you guys, it's also going to shrink back under here. If you remember, there was actually the gap under here from where the overlap in the drywall was, and that's actually going to suck a bunch of the moisture out, and it'll actually pull this bit over. Not to mention with 2 more coats of mud, that's going to disappear. But yeah, that is your basic corner bead install. So now let's go upstairs and I'm going to show you some of the different configurations you need to know to get your beads to overlap properly. We're not going to do a technical install, but you'll be able to see the process of doing it. And Also, I have much more complicated videos on corner bead, tons of them on the channel. If you just start searching Vancouver Carpenter corner bead, give it a watch, you will learn so much. Anyways, let's go upstairs. Okay, I thought we could take a quick look at this pony wall to see what a lot of the ins and outs can look like. So in order to do these, they don't need to be as perfectly mitered as this one. That's probably the best one I've ever done in my entire life. And if you're trying to achieve that, you are wasting your time. So typically when I'm cutting these, all I'm concerned about is just that they aren't overlapping. So to cut these, usually what you'll do, okay, it's got to come to this corner. And when you're cutting it to a wall, it's got to go just a little bit past the surface of the drywall. So I'll get a rough cut and then I'll follow it like that. This is like if I'm just cutting it to length, right? Say I've got it butted up against that wall and then it's coming out here overhanging a little bit. Okay, and then I just do a rough 45. And I just try to make sure it's more than 45. I don't even think about this. I don't mark it. You could mark it if you needed to. You could mark it 45 and then you could just cut it a little bit past 45 because again, you don't want them to overlap. I just do this by eye. Most of the time they wind up more like this one. You can see there's a little gap right there. These ones have some bigger gaps. This is all gonna be okay. It's gonna fill in. But yeah, it's just 3 corners that all come up to a point like that. And that's how we get these. I've definitely showed up on jobs where people just go like this. Please don't do that. That is not acceptable in any way. I've seen it where they only miter the one. None of that is correct. It needs to be mitered on all sides and meeting up to a point. Again, the mud will fill in a certain amount. And there is one other little thing that I'd like to point out is while that looks nice and, I mean, this one's not crispy. The other ones were crispy. While they might be crispy, they're also really pointy and they're gonna stay pointy after you finish coating it. So just to make it very slightly less dangerous, I will often take my knife and really gently do this. It's similar to like sanding a wood edge, right? Just to make it a bit less dangerous if you are able to get a nice crisp corner in the first place. I'm not trying to be judgmental, just trust me, it's hard, right? When you're trying to do complicated corner bead for the first time, it's hard. This corner bead right here, these are the fun ones because it actually is that small, right? When I was cutting this one, you're literally cutting a piece that's this small and then having to do 45s on top of that. So you actually have to install pieces like this. And the tricky thing about that is getting it to be in the right position. So something like this, I'll install it and then I'll work on something else for a bit because if I'm trying to install this next piece of corner bead while this one's still jiggling all over the place, well, this is gonna wind up askew. So yeah, that's how these ones work. The inside is just the butt end. I definitely would never try to inside miter those. Like that's ridiculous. We're not doing finished carpentry. This is just drywall. So what we do in this though, because these two edges, like that's kind of an abrupt edge, that's an abrupt edge, and there's a possibility that over time you'll get these hairline cracks right there and right there. So there is actually a solution for that. What we often do is put tapes. So I usually put paper tapes, but these are installed really quite flush with the drywall. So I'm actually gonna use fiberfuse tapes. And the key here is what you don't wanna do is what I'm kind of doing on purpose. You don't want it to go onto the flange. I don't know if you can see the line, but you don't want it, or not the flange, you don't want it on the nosing. It needs to be back. So I'm pulling it back a little bit. It needs to be behind the nosing so that it sits under the surface. This bead is sticking up a bit. And the reason that we do that is so that after a couple coats of mud, you can't see this. Let's see what that might look like. This knife is too small, that's my problem. So that's not a bad first coat. And as we can see, that fiberfuse tape is hidden. But yeah, that's how it'll look when it coats up. That's kind of satisfying, isn't it? There's definitely some ASMR when it comes to coating corner bead. I feel like we're going into overtime on this video. But you know why? It's because like, I'm just seizing the opportunity to show you guys one of the really satisfying parts of corner bead. And also what it should look like when it's installed properly. Right? You often can't tell if you've installed your corner bead properly until you start coating it. And that's when you'll see your problems. Those can be a little tricky. Don't forget, you can also just sand it. Like, I want that to not be like that, so I'm gonna fuss with it. But for you guys, I would recommend not fussing with it. Just sand it. But for the video, doesn't it look better now that we did that? And if you find that these aren't looking as square as you want them, just leave a little bit of extra mud on it. Leave just the littlest bit extra like that. And gently sand this, and it's going to end up like dead square. It'll be perfect. So that's how you deal with all that kind of stuff. Anyways, I've been filming too much and I have a huge, huge job to do. So I hope you guys are doing well. I want to say thanks for watching, and I hope you got a lot out of this. Let me know in the comments. You always do. Bye-bye. Oh.